friends, welcome back to another episode of the Cripple Chronicles podcast. If you're new, hi, my name is Becca. I am disabled and this is a podcast about disability, mental health and whatever is going on in my noggin, to be honest. Today is a bit of a different episode and I feel like I might say this a few times this year because I'm trying some new things. I am somebody that when I'm in pain or just when I don't have a lot of brain energy, I love to just consume like TikTok drama, like internet drama, YouTube drama. Like if there is anybody that loved following along like Dramageddon and all of that when it was going down in the beauty community, hi, I was too. And that has just become like, I don't know, a little guilty pleasure that's not really a guilty pleasure. But the point of me saying that is you might have seen today as a bit of a reaction. I am not how I would usually look when I record the podcast. I've not done my hair. All I've done is got dressed. So today I am going to be reacting to a video by Salem Tovar about healthcare. TikTok is making doctors choose clout over care and it's putting patients in danger. This is actually a creator that I only found really recently when all of the stuff was kind of going on with like Ash Trevino and things like this. If you're not in an internet lore, you don't need to be, because this is basically going to be me getting ready and reacting to this video made by Salem. I'm obviously only going to put in bits where I am actually being commentary and giving things on it, because I realised without, like, I would probably have classed myself as somebody who is like chronically online, but without me actually watching YouTubers, I wouldn't have an idea what is going on online, because I actually just really dislike scrolling on TikTok now, because a lot of things I'm like, is this sponsored? Is this brand content? I don't really know, and I don't really like when it's not obvious. So this is going to be a video where I am looking at what Salem has to say. I literally watched 3 minutes of this video and stopped it and was like, nah, I need to get ready and watch this and give my opinions on the TikTok, because as you might know in other episodes, I have spoken about the fact that I was a registered mental health nurse. I am no longer registered. I am no longer working as a nurse. However, in my heart, I will always be a nurse. So yeah, let's get into this. I will start watching this video. I am not going to talk you through what I'm doing with my makeup. Anything that you want to know about the products I'm using, drop me a comment and I will be happy to tell you. But I just want to focus on watching this video, reacting to it, giving my commentary, and anything you want to know about my makeup or anything like that, let me know in the comments, and in the next one I can maybe say like, here's the things I'm using, here's what I'm doing, blah blah blah. But that's not for today. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing, and yeah, let's get into this.
There's one thing that all these nurses getting fired have in common.
We have an update on the healthcare worker that went viral for dancing on her patients' heads.
Every time he used the bathroom, his hemoglobin came out. And this time he coughed, he hemoglobined.
My ick is when you come in for your induction talking about, can I take a shower and eat?
Do not film at work.
Okay, I know that these give you cancer. People always ask me at work how I keep my skin so clear, and I just, while I'm at work every shift, I find that I don't break out.
I love energy drinks, even though they make me so anxious and my doctor told me not to do it, but
Same girl.
no one tells me what to do. So I'm gonna drink it anyways and face the consequences of my own actions. Anyways,
yeah, that is exactly me, girl. I actually don't have any energy drink today, so maybe I'm a bit lower energy than I would usually be.
it's Salem and welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing?
Jeffree Star vibes for sure.
Because it's absolutely wild that everyone started to sing the part of the diss track where Kendrick goes A minor. If I girls drank, I would just never show my face again.
Oh, come on. Embarrassing.
Ever. Not only have influencers gone crazy, but so have the influencers in the medical, healthcare, and wellness area of the internet also gone crazy.
The video that's gone viral of me, the healthcare worker that's dancing on top of her patient's head, is not what it is. Trust and believe.
I'm guessing they're going to get into this video, but literally in the video she's going, so you've seen a video of me, the healthcare worker that is dancing on her patient's head. Like, why are you doing air quotations? Because I saw that video in the intro of this video, and you ain't going to tell me that was not you dancing on your patient's head and there's more to it. Come on!
Say for now is angles play a big part, but we're gonna get into that another time.
I say that, and then she says the angles played a big part. Maybe if you are taking a photo of yourself and you look skinnier, or I don't know, part of your boobs look bigger or something, maybe say the angles, but when you see this woman on her patient's head, there ain't nothing that can be said about that. Oh, are these eyebrows making me look a bit crazy? Oh well.
Something just doesn't sit right in my spirit for so many healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, plastic surgeons, holistic medical people being on social media with basically no supervision or anything.
Okay, I know that these
I am just going to stop this and stop getting ready to make a point. Salem had said in her video, I've been wanting to make this video for a while. When I was in university, if you have listened to the podcast, you will know I had some issues with my social media, which near enough got me kicked out of university and not able to practice nursing. And when I say that, it sounds really bad. Maybe like I was filming people and putting them on the internet. No, I had a private Twitter account with 10 followers where I said I wanted to kill myself, and that apparently made the whole nursing profession not trust me as a nurse. So I was like, okay. However, I have heard stories of nurses being extremely abusive within Glasgow, at least, as well as nurses being abusive in other healthcare boards within the UK. It is something where when you seem to see kind of news or anything about nurses or healthcare workers, they are always the people that are getting shit on for bad things happening, and you very rarely see people getting lifted up for doing good things. However, that is not the point, because that is from media, traditional media, not social media like news, newspapers, whereas now you have this thing on TikTok where there are nurses, healthcare workers, doctors, surgeons even. Like, I remember seeing about a plastic surgeon that was live streaming. I think that is maybe going to come up in this video. There is no way a patient should be in your care and then somehow ends up in a video on your social media. Like, that is such an abuse of power, control. You are benefiting off of sick people when you should be getting paid to look after them, not paid because you're showing them online. Like, what the hell? I have actually wanted to speak about this for a while, but I didn't really have the energy to go through TikTok and find all of the compilations and things like that, because there is actually so much that happens in the healthcare world. I don't know if you will have seen any kind of like documentaries, docuseries that they do on Netflix. There is one been about nurses literally like drugging patients with insulin, and in America nothing gets done. Like, in uni, I got told I was going to have to go in front of a nursing panel and potentially get struck off for tweeting that I wanted to kill myself. Yet there are nurses that abuse patients physically. There are nurses that abuse patients verbally and emotionally. And there are also then people who come into the profession because they know that they can take advantage of people and get things out of vulnerable people. And I think people should never end up in a position where they have power over somebody, where they are looking to exploit their vulnerabilities. However, the other thing that makes me concerned is when watching these docuseries, documentary things on Netflix, when it is talking about nurses, most of the time the hospital just fires them. They don't say what has actually happened. They just get sacked, and that means that they can go work in any other hospital and do the same shit because the hospitals are so scared about the media shit talking the hospital that they don't want to sack nurses for killing people. Like, it is insanity. But I never really knew how to put it together because I'm not somebody that's from America, so I thought I'll watch this video and then I've got the perspective from America, but I've also got my own perspective. So we are only 4 minutes into Salem video. It is a 58-minute long video. I am probably going to watch it on like 1.5 speed, so any clips might be in 1.5 speed, but it is just so that I am not recording for 59 minutes on top of whatever I have to say.
Holistic people trying to tell people that the real reason why they're sick is actually not because they have a medical underlying problems. It's actually because you're in your masculine era.
Many people do not realise is that before PCOS manifests in the physical with acne, weight gain, it actually starts in the spiritual. And the reason and the root cause of PCOS is the spiritual subconscious belief of feeling unsafe.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
The reason why this is a video I've been wanting to make for such a long time is because for those of y'all who don't know, I have PCOS. I actually was hospitalized for the longest time about 3 years ago, but I have actually put in so much work to restore my health through my own hard work, research, and help of doctors who actually cared about me. And actually, TikTok was a huge help for me, surprisingly. I know. Ironic because I'm literally making a video about it, but I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of advice on TikTok that was just...
I eat raw onion to heal.
It just wasn't giving, you know? It opened a whole world of basically deep, dark, disturbing parts of the internet in general, of people who kind of profit off of the fact that they have an educational background in some sort of healthcare profession. They mix it with social media and basically just are crazy. And I'm like, how is no one talking about this? Because guys, this is a side of the internet that is just like, I'm at a loss for words at how comfortable people get. Like, what happened to revoking people's licenses? I'm talking people who are fake nurses on TikTok. I'm talking unqualified medical experts giving y'all advice, HIPAA violations of people making story times based on their patients. Unhinged. Just recently, there was a nurse who got fired for twerking on her disabled patients. We are doomed. And I'm sure tomorrow there's going to be another story of someone acting up.
Okay, so that video of the woman at start is a healthcare worker dancing on her patient's head. Please do not tell me that that was a woman that was twerking on disabled patients, because damn, they're not just patients, they're disabled. Like, what is going on in your head where you think that shit's okay?
Video discussion topic 1. Unqualified and unhinged. The crazy side of the dangerous healthcare experts on TikTok. And to me, that just shows not only to not trust everything that comes from these shops, but also you can't trust anyone who's promoting these things because you never know how it's going to affect you. There are so many good things on TikTok Shop, and it's a really cool platform that gives a lot of small businesses and people's really good ideas an opportunity to get bigger and for people to make an income. And there are some detox teas and so many other things that are really cool and that do work that even I have bought. But the thing is that nothing is regulated. Ever. Anyone can sell anything and then anyone can promote it, and they actually get a commission when they do promote the product. So there can be a lot of gray in that area as to what is authentic, what works, and who is truly using it. And in the world of healthcare, where there are millions and millions of products constantly being sold to you as the cure-all be-all, snake oil, scams, things that don't even work are flying off the internet shelves more than ever. And unfortunately, a lot of healthcare people, holistic coaches, natural medicine hoes, and all type of stuff are like, I can make a quick buck.
I actually really like that point about like medical professionals selling things on TikTok Shop being like influencing your followers to buy things that aren't actually medically healthy just because you have a medical degree. And it also kind of links into when I was seeing things on TikTok and I was thinking like, I don't know if this is an authentic review or that you are reviewing this content and you're not disclosing that it's an ad, and then you're tricking your followers, and that is just some like snaky shit that I don't really want to be involved in. I don't really trust it because I'm like, I don't know if you're being honest or if you're pocketing cash from this, so it doesn't matter what you say. And you should never feel like that about healthcare people. But and then again, I'm like, healthcare pharmaceuticals, it is an industry and they're going to try and make as much money as possible. But it shouldn't be getting sold on TikTok Shop, that's for sure.
Another thing that is just crazy to me is a lot of people in this realm will straight up just violate HIPAA. Like, some of y'all really be like, guys, story time on how my patient almost died. Like, y'all really saying all that while doing your skincare and makeup? There's just something about the mixture of social media with these professions that makes people want to share too much. But there's a massive difference between being real and showing the unfiltered part of your job and then just straight up dragging your patients.
My ick is when you come in for your induction talking about, can I take a shower and eat?
What? My ick is when you ask me how much the baby weighs
and it is still in your hands.
Any pain medicine, no epidural, but you are at an 8 out of 10 pain with just a Cervidil, and you're still closed, fingertip.
But every 5 minutes, you can't remember coming out the front desk. Asking for Lincoln.
Ew, this is so cringe. Guilty.
That compilation, or just, I think that it was just one video from healthcare workers of the fact that they were basically talking poorly about pregnant mothers. Like, would you not want a shower and some food after you've had a fucking baby? Like, why are you looking down your nose at people? It makes me so angry. It's part of the reason why I couldn't go back into nursing, because seeing these people in real life would make me want to throttle them. Can't beg.
Professions, even non-medical professions, will try to follow Gen Z humor trends such as the ick trend that happened a while back, where you talk about stuff that just basically make you cringe. And the trend itself was funny, but it just comes off as so harmful and mean. Like, imagine seeing the healthcare worker who took care of you calling you an ick. That is just so insane to me. And I know this video is actually pretty old, and all those women did face repercussions, thankfully, but it still doesn't stop the fact that this is still happening to this day, where people will talk badly about their patient or do TikTok trends. It's just so crazy to see how times kind of don't change. Not too long ago, there's actually a plastic surgeon on TikTok who almost had 1 million followers, who live streamed their surgeries on their patients.
So this TikToker, her name's Dr. Roxy, and she's a plastic surgeon. She has her own clinic. She's very successful. She really wants to relate to her patients. So she starts a TikTok account and starts posting, mostly dancing and lip syncing while at work, but people seem to be enjoying it because her account keeps growing and growing. She wants to, with her patient's permission, live stream some of her surgeries.
So if you want to get in the OR and see behind the scenes and how this stuff works,
And she does, and these live streams do really well for her.
plastic surgeon in Ohio has lost her fight to regain her medical license after allegedly causing harm while live streaming her surgeries on TikTok. Wood noted a particular incident of a botched liposuction. The patient, who was live streamed by Dr. Roxy, needed emergency care after her intestine was found to be perforated after surgery. And she was previously warned in 2021 by the state medical board that it was wrong to live stream her video.
That is a literal nightmare. Like,
oh, I didn't actually realise that, like, the thing with the plastic surgeon had injured somebody during surgery, but I also didn't realise that there was, like, a lawsuit about it. So I think set a video at some point, I'm not even going to say soon. I want to kind of have a look at that lawsuit and see what actually happened, because I am very curious. I remember seeing it when it kicked off on TikTok, and I was like, how, like, patients can't give informed consent because they don't know what happens when they're under the knife, and they don't know how many people are actually going to, like, see it whilst it's live. And, like, what if a family member sees that and they start freaking out because they're like, that's my mum and she's live on TikTok whilst getting operated on? Like, I would be freaking out.
the craziest thing is that there seems to be, like, no regulation online as to what people can share, promote, or say when it comes to these realms of the internet. That's actually kind of crazy, but it's also dangerous. It's dangerous that it's this accessible. In general, the mixture of social media, just the medical, health, and wellness industries can be so helpful, but it seems at this point, everything's just crossing the line. And at this point, I don't even know where the line is, okay?
It feels like medical content is crossing the line, and there doesn't really seem to be regulations for this kind of thing. Like, I don't even know how to put it, because I'm like, we got it drilled into us in uni that you do not add patients, take photos of them, record videos of them, record them speaking. You don't add them on Facebook. You don't get their house address. You don't get their mobile number from their contacts. You don't try and keep in contact with them, because they're your patients when you're in hospital, and then outside of hospital, nothing. You shouldn't have contact with them. And it was something that was drilled into us of, if you do things on social media, like, I think the NMC has policies on social media as a nurse. The NMC is a Nursing and Midwifery Council within the UK. I want to say established, but that's not the right word. Like, it's not enforced these, like, things, and therefore there is then healthcare workers out doing shit like this. And then even then I'm like, but seeing people get prosecuted, losing their job, losing their licence, all of these things, why would it not make you stop and think, I don't want to share my stuff?
Discussion topic number 2, behind the hospital curtains, healthcare workers, clout, and TikTok. You know, this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about. The first person that always came to mind was my sister Penny. And she is the person in our family where we send our rashes and our booty pics to and be like, what's this? Booty pics? I don't know about that.
My name is Penny Tovar, and I'm a bachelor's registered nurse. My first job was in pediatrics, and now I'm currently in inpatient rehabilitation. So we help to rehabilitate people who have had life-changing injuries, so amputations, strokes, traumatic brain injuries, spinal injuries, things of that sort. I really do love my job. I love taking care of people. I love making my patients smile and laugh. I am also on social media, so I feel like I'm kind of in the crosshairs of the things that you want to talk about, which is like social media and nursing.
I think this is a really cool viewpoint, and I can't wait to see what Salem's sister has to say about working in the healthcare industry and being on social media, and also kind of seeing what lies there and what her kind of discussion points are, because like coming from somebody who has worked in healthcare, I only know how it is in the UK. Like in different parts of the world it works in different ways, so I am very curious to hear what she has to say and see if it makes me think of any discussion points that I can also add in.
I feel like people find it intriguing, but they don't really know the ins of it because they don't work in a hospital. That's why when you see like hospitals and movies and shows, I'm like, bruh, like the number one biggest thing that I'm like, no, please do not do this, is when in movies and shows, when you get a wound and they immediately put alcohol on it. Like, why? There's no need to do that. I promise you, that kills healthy tissue. One time I was hesitant to put nursing content on the internet because it can be a fine line, because you want to stay professional and you want to show pride in your profession, but you also don't want to overstep any boundaries that could create inappropriate perceptions.
That is exactly how I feel about it. Like when I decided to talk about my nursing journey, what happened in university, at that point I knew that I wasn't going back to nursing. However, if I was going back to nursing, I probably wouldn't have shared those things online. That is because I wouldn't want it to look bad on the profession, but it would also look bad on me, I suppose, going back into the profession, even though the things that I spoke about were years and years ago. It goes on your record, and even with that as well, going into nursing, you get told that you should be very open and honest and transparent and things like that, but sometimes it's hard and you don't really know what to say because you're worried about getting kicked out and all of these things. When I do see content of nurses and they're just totally fucking up their whole career by being far too open what is on the internet, like, do you think it's just going to be your followers that see it? Realistically, the patient that you are talking about could see this information and they know that you're talking about them, and that is just horrible. Like, But this part of the video is now getting into TikTok reactions. I really hadn't made it this far in the video. Like I said, I'd only watched about 3 minutes. I am now finished my makeup, looking very pretty, very demure. But yeah, I'm going to see what TikToks are in this, see if I've got any reactions for you, and then I'll probably leave it for today. Who knows? Let's just go with it. I mean, you know when you're listening to it. I don't know, because I ain't finished recording it yet and I ain't edited it yet, so this is a bit redundant. Let's just get back to watching these reactions.
Care worker that went viral for dancing on her patient's head, she's been arrested.
I just realized the dude underneath her. Is he in a wheelchair? Oh my god, what is happening? You're going to hell.
Previously, her mother is the one that owned this healthcare facility, so I'm wondering if there will be any charges for her coming up as well.
So she's a caregiver. That's something that I want to say immediately, that I want to make it known. Something I've noticed is when there's a woman in scrubs online, people immediately assume nurse. And there's different types of nurses, okay? So it kind of makes me twinge a little. They're like, oh, some people are going to think that's just like a nurse, but that's clearly it's a caregiver. And like I said, the mom owned this facility. So, that's so disgusting and horrible. There are a lot of healthcare facilities out there that actually have very low standards of care. And people can do actually pretty horrific things and get away with it and not be held accountable legally.
Unfortunately, that is a lot more common than not. People get away with abusing patients where there is not high levels of care that are given. I seen it firsthand working as a support worker in care homes, to the point where I had to get in touch with the Care Commission because I was coming in for an agency night shift to see residents that's family were paying £900 for them to be there, and they were sitting in their own shit for 12, 14 hours. That's neglect. That is abuse, and you are taking advantage of vulnerable people by having their family pay that much money for care that is not worth that much money.
Skilled nursing facilities, as well as other healthcare facilities where there are elderly people. The truth is, there's just so many people there that they're burnt out, or they're there just to get paid. They don't care about the patients. Very low quality care. Not a lot of safety checks. There's just a lot of really sus things that go on. In my heart, I like to believe that people are trying their best to do their job. But the truth is, I have seen many people who I'm like, why are you doing this again, dude? Like, you should not be a healthcare worker. Like, you shouldn't be doing this.
I have had that thought so many times when I was a nurse, when I was a patient. There is people that are just so burnt out and done with the profession that they do not give a fuck about the patients that they're looking at. And when it gets to that point, I look at those people and think, why are you still in this industry? Why are you still in a care industry when you don't even care about yourself, never mind the people that you're looking after? And that is so hard. I see a lot of things on nursing forums and things like that where people say, when did I decide that this isn't for me? Like, I'm really struggling at the current position I have and I don't know if nursing is for me anymore. And a lot of the times, instead of telling somebody to take a break from it and you can come back, they just say, change up what department you're working in, maybe try and find a different health board, maybe go private, instead of asking, like, why are you actually struggling with your job? Is it because you are just empathy burnt out and you cannot care for people at the moment? Because that's okay too. It's better to recognise that than to neglect your patients.
Okay. I literally just saw a TikTok of a young nurse do her med pass. She was wearing a long sleeve crop top and her scrub bottoms, but her belly button was out. The way my management would have sent me home.
Yeah, I've met me too. What does your profession have against slayage? We're not there to slay. We're there to work. In healthcare, you do not want to slay. That is the opposite. When it comes to the cropped long sleeve, that's genuinely like a contamination hazard. I would.
If you know, you will have seen nurses, they wear scrubs. They tend to be longer, short-sleeved. It's actually to keep nurses protected. Like, if you are caring for somebody and say you take out a cannula and blood starts spraying everywhere, you don't want to be covered in that for the rest of your shift. You have scrubs on that you can take off, you can get changed, you're fresh. Whereas if you can't change, then you are going in and you're looking after other patients whilst you are covered in another patient's blood who could potentially have any range of bloodborne viruses or viruses that could be transmitted from that nurse to different patients that are on the ward. Like, you're not allowed nail polish, long nails. I feel like nurses probably shouldn't be wearing lashes, like stick-on lashes, just in case they come off or come loose. I have said to people before, there used to be nurses that I would work with that would get up at like 4 a.m. to do a full beat of makeup to be on shift for 12 hours. And I'm like, fair enough that you feel like you don't want to leave the house without makeup, but how do you even function? Like, especially when it's a 12-hour shift, you're working until late at night, you need as most sleep as possible. I wouldn't be giving up 2 hours of sleep so that I could put a full bit of makeup on. But then again, that is not something that is a health and safety concern. It is just a me thing, really, that, I mean, my makeup doesn't take me long to do anyway, as you will have seen throughout this video, but I don't get it. It's just something that I don't quite understand. But like, a crop top underneath your scrubs, like, how do you know the thing you've washed it with, they don't have like crabs or something? I know that's maybe like an extreme thought, but yeah, that is the infection control aspect of it. Like, I used to try and get away with wearing my scrubs underneath like hoodies when I was travelling to work, but I was on public transport and I shouldn't have been doing that, because realistically I could have sat in that chair, there could have been germs or anything in that chair, in my surroundings. I'm wearing my scrubs and then I'm doing a full day of caregiving to people potentially with these germs on me. So it especially got cracked on down more in COVID, where people were having to like not wear scrubs home and things like that for risk of contaminating their families, or with risk of bringing contamination from their families to their work. So I don't know, I feel like it's maybe got better in the UK, but I'm not too sure about that one. She'd said like, yeah, I want to be slaying, but there's a time and place. Like, teachers should not be teaching in crop tops and short skirts, which I agree with full-heartedly, but I like being a bit showy. I like wearing crop tops. I like wearing skirts. When I mentor my young person, I make sure that I am wearing something that is school appropriate. Even if I am not a pupil, a teacher, I am just a mentor. I am somebody that comes into the school for an hour a week. Yeah, I'm not going to just go in with like my tits out and wearing like a skimpy top and having like loads of skin showing, because that is not an appropriate place for it. And just like nursing and being in healthcare is not an appropriate place to cut about with your scrubs as a crop top.
When I hear you talk about like just like the real dirty, dark work of the nursing world and just the healthcare world in general, you don't see that on TikTok. If anything, the number one thing that I see all the time, oh, the money, do it for the money. The money. That's such a huge category on just the medical.
It is wild seeing somebody who is not in the healthcare profession saying that online you don't see the dark sides of nursing, you see do it for the money. And I actually had a situation in my last year of training where my mentor told me that I was not good enough, basically. I came across as very standoffish. People wouldn't want to engage with me, don't know if you actually want to be here. I was distraught by this, like I started having a panic attack, and I didn't change anything that I was doing yet. They then said, oh, you've made such an improvement, blah, blah, blah. And at one point of that, I had a meeting and they said, why are you actually doing this? And I said, well, because I want to help people. And they were like, really? Like, it's not for money or experience? And I'm like, no, I want to be a nurse because I want to help people. Like, if I wanted to do a job for money, I would not be working in healthcare. Like, in the UK, when I qualified, you got 24,000 as a starting salary as a nurse. Like, it is not a big earning potential unless you want to go elsewhere in the world. Or, I don't know how much nurses get paid for kind of healthcare work or private healthcare work in the US. Maybe it is more, but especially in the UK, that is not my opinion. Do not go into nursing if it's for the money and you don't care about people, because that is just going to go wrong.
They only see the money aspect of it and the romanticization aspect of it, which a lot of influencers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, whatever, TikTokers do this a lot, where they will only show the nice side of things, mislead other people, and then when the people want to do that, they're like, I'm not built for this. And that's when you have these mishaps of people twerking on patients, doing it just for the money. It's gotten worse throughout the years because of social media. Like,
I definitely do think that it has gotten worse the more prevalent that TikTok's gotten. And I mean, I have seen discussions of people who are off from mental health nursing because of their mental health, and they've said, like, I want to share it online, and people have said, nah, don't do it, it's not worth it. And I can get it. Like, I don't think I would be as prominently on TikTok if I still worked in nursing, because there is an idea of knowing like any patient that comes through the door is a patient that could have seen my videos on TikTok, and I'm not sure there's that much awareness from people that are creating TikToks, especially in America. They think it's so big, nobody's going to see this that actually is my patient, and unfortunately that is not the case.
Even I have very minimal knowledge of the healthcare world and stuff like that. Even I was like, and I would always send you the TikToks because I was like, there's no way that this isn't like some sort of ethical violation.
Talk about Nurse Hannah, 17 diapers mum, not just the content that she was making, exploiting the neglect of her children and not cleaning up after them and not having a nappy bin, like especially hearing this and people saying I'm getting £48 an hour, I don't even know what to do. Like, if you're making that money, you should have a nappy bin for your kid and not have stinky diapers like lying around your house. Anyway, I am not a parent, so I don't want to come across as judgmental in that way, but there was things that I saw about her nursing content where I watched it and went, should you really be posting that? Like, should you? And even, it just came back into my head because I was watching, I've been watching some things recently about like Girl World, Amber Lynn Reid verse, and there was a point where Amber Lynn Reid worked as a healthcare worker and was literally recording the residents of the place where she used to work and like shit like that, when I'm like, that is not okay. Like, that is so not okay. No.
I got on shift at 3 and every single person's MAR was in red. You want me to take over your MAR when everybody's in red? Absolutely not. You're gonna stay, finish passing all those meds until every person's out of the red. I'm not taking over for you, taking over those patients, taking the keys.
That's kind of the culture culture of nursing that people criticize of like the dog eat dog world, every man for himself, kind of. It can be that way sometimes, but it cannot be that way with you and your team members, because ultimately we're all working together to take care of these people, and some days are hard. Like there was a day where I wasn't all right and I was crying. I was having a panic attack because it was hard. Some days are just really hard. Yeah, it's really sad to see another nurse perpetuate that kind of attitude, because it's like, dude, if we just help each other, we could just get it done. And I also think it's a generational thing. I personally did experience bullying in the workplace from a much older nurse. With the older nurses, kind of the whole eat their young kind of culture. Unfortunately, that is a thing as well in the nursing world. Yeah, there was just definitely a good handful of people or more when I was in nursing school. I'm like, why are you being a nurse? Why are you here? Like, you shouldn't have it.
This was a very good point, because in placements that I had in nursing, the mentors you had would try and be as mean to you as humanly possible to see if you could stick it out, to see if you could stand it. I nearly dropped out of uni doing my general placement because I kept getting told that mental health nursing wasn't real nursing, because I wasn't a general nurse. I was never going to be a good nurse because I only cared about mental health. I could not succeed in this placement. They wanted to speak to the uni about me, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. They just pulled me in, told me this at like 3 o'clock in the morning in a night shift, and then anytime I tried to go back after that, I had panic attacks where I was being violently sick because I couldn't think about going into my job and getting taught like that. It was really common, like especially when in nursing you learned evidence-based practice, because nursing is done off of evidence and you cannot treat patients in a way that have not had evidence done on them, like research studies and things. So I think quite a lot of nurses didn't like me in my training because they would do things and I would say that's not how it's meant to get done, and the response was, well, that's how we do it, and if you've got a problem then tough, really. And it is very hard in some situations like that, but that's just part of becoming a nurse. You meet some mentors and some older colleagues, some colleagues that have been in the profession for years that are just really burnt out, and I have wondered, like, why are you still doing this?
Here's my final summary, opinion, conclusion of nurses on TikTok. Number one, just because somebody's wearing scrubs does not mean that they're a nurse. In fact, I've noticed a lot of people will just buy scrubs and a random RN bag from Amazon and just be wearing it and make content with it. So don't immediately assume that they are nurses. Check their bios, check their usernames to see if they have their license there, right? Like if they're an RN or an LPN or an LVN or a CNA or a PA or an MD, you know, check for that.
All kind of things that aren't quite in the UK. Like, we have healthcare workers, healthcare support workers, and like nursing assistants and healthcare support workers are in like the same band in NHS, unless you're in mental health, then it's like a band higher because they need to be trained in restraining. However, you still have like practice nurses, your band 5, your band 6, you have like prescribing nurses who have done extra training, who can, as well as consultants, prescribe medication. There are other things, like you have like art and design nurses, like art therapy nurses, but in the NHS it is my understanding that whenever something has the title of nurse and not nursing assistant or healthcare support worker, that they are a qualified nurse. I was going to say, if you want to check, you can probably find them on the NMC, but I think you probably need their PIN for that, so I don't know if you can. Don't take that literally.
The job, no matter the field, no matter the place, the negative voices will always be much louder than the positive ones, unfortunately. So all I can say from my personal experience is my coworkers are great. They're great nurses, they're kind, they're collaborative, they make great team members, and I always try my best to do that as well on my end to help my coworkers, the CNAs, the RNs, and to be collaborative. And I always like to make my patients laugh, I like to make them smile. And please believe that there are people out there that love their jobs and love taking care of their patients. And my third point, follow me. My name is Penny Tovar on all platforms. I'm an educator, I am a nurse and a special needs mom, and that's what my content is all about. So check that out. Thank you. This is a little bit of a mess, but thank you. Yeah.
Okay, that is where I am going to finish my reaction for today. There is still about 12 minutes left of the video, so as I said before, if you want to go and watch Salem's video, it will be down in the description. I am going to just process what I have just watched in my brain, and I'm going to get on and record some other content. Look after yourselves, have a good week, and I will see you next week. Bye!